You know, the first segment I did today was also about immigration. It was about the 1,500 troops that Trump's sending to the border and the fact that he's giving uh, deportation powers to the DEA, ATF, and U.S. Marshals. And we're going to keep that same theme on this segment as well. We're going to talk about immigration. Now, don't worry, not every segment's going to be about immigration today. There are others. But this is an important story, something I covered before, but it's still important to cover again, which is that Congress has passed the Laken Riley Act, and this from the BBC. Congress passes Laken Riley Act in an early win for Trump on immigration. Now, we're going to get into this in a minute. One of the big things I want to say here is that, 156 Democrats still have said, nope, we don't want to pass this. We do not want to pass it. It is not right. Now, there are plenty, 46 in fact, that in Congress who said, this is common sense. And 12 Senate Democrats as well said, this is common sense. And so this bill is passed and Trump will sign it. Because why would he not sign it? Just like the Democrats said, it's common sense. It's a good bill to sign. Because how many American citizens need to die at the hands of illegal immigrants before we say, these illegal immigrants are probably a problem. We should probably do something about that. Is it 10? 100? 1,000? Or perhaps they just don't care that Americans are dying at the hands of illegals because they hate you. And I think that's probably the correct answer, is that they hate you. They hate everything that America stands for. They hate our way of life. And they hate the fact that we're as free as we are. Because the Democrats just want power. They just want money. That's all they care about, right? And it makes me think back to a time when Ilhan Omar said, and this was super anti-Semitic, but whatever, she said it's all about the Benjamins in regards to Israel and the Republicans and AIPAC and all that good stuff. And it just makes me think, the left and the Democrats, they're so good at projecting. That's just what they do. They project. And I think that was something where Ilhan Omar was projecting as well. Because as we'll see in this article, all they care about is money. Because here's the thing, right? They, first off, don't want to pass this bill because immigrants' rights and this, that, and the other, whatever, right? Secondly, they criticize the bill because there's not enough money to implement this bill. Because God forbid that we stop our foreign wars, that we stop funding this foreign aid to Ukraine, to Israel, to all these other countries. If we have to pay for this bill, we can't give Ukraine money. What do we do then? What will the poor Ukrainians do? And you know what? I'll say they can fend for themselves, just like we need to fend for ourselves. American citizen lives are more important than the lives of foreign citizens somewhere else, right? That's not to say that human lives don't matter. It's just to say that our spending should be based on what we need versus what they need. Because, just like you should do when you're budgeting, you should make sure you take care of your home first. Make sure that your bills are paid before you go spend money elsewhere. It's the same thing with us. We should make sure that our borders are secure, that our people are safe. And when we're sure that that's done, we're all safe, then we can go spend money elsewhere. And that's fine. We can give out foreign aid. We can be, good-hearted, good-natured people. And that's fine. But take care of your own home first. Clean up your house, and then you can go spend money elsewhere. It's not difficult. And the fact that these Democrats push so hard against this just tells us that they hate America. They hate you, they hate me, and they hate our way of life. And that might sound really, really dramatic, but it's true. It's the truth, man. You can see it in the way that these people vote. For the BBC, Congress passes Laken Riley Act, an early win for Trump on immigration. The U.S. Congress has passed a bill requiring undocumented immigrants who are arrested for theft or violent crimes to be held in jail pending trial. The bill, named after Laken Riley, a Georgia nursing student murdered last year by a Venezuelan man, passed the House of Representatives a day after it was approved by the Senate. The measure cruised through the House by a vote of 263 to 156. 46 Democrats defied their party leadership and crossed the political aisle to support the Republican-led measure. In the Senate, 12 Democrats gave their support to the bill. It now heads to the White House for President Donald Trump to sign it into law, an early legislative win for his fledgling administration on a bill named after a woman whom he often invoked during his campaign. Ms. Riley, 22, was found dead on February 2024 in a wooded area of the University of Georgia campus after she did not return from her morning run. The migrant convicted of murdering her had been arrested twice, in New York and in Georgia, months before the killing, but was released ahead of trial. The Laken Riley Act was approved by the Republican-held House last year, but was not taken up at the time in the Democratic-controlled Senate. So the question becomes, and let's read this part first. It passed with bipartisan support on Wednesday, only days after the Senate's balance of power shifted to Republican control. The question becomes, What changed in the last 6 months to make this go from just an absolutely unconscionable evil act to common sense? Because the House passed it last year, but the Senate wouldn't even take it up. And now they're saying, oh, but it's common sense. It's smart. It's reasonable. It's something that we should do. You know, when Joe Biden was president, it was common sense to just open our borders, let these migrants pour in, let them kill our citizens, and that was okay. That was the right thing to do. It was moral. It was good. And now, since Trump has become president, you know, now it's common sense to hold these immigrants and then deport them whenever we get the chance to, right? Now it's common sense to have these massive deportations. You know, and I'm not upset that Democrats have voted for this. It's great, but they're also fair weather friends. They are only doing what they think will give them power. The fact that they actually did this is shocking to me because the left will hold them accountable very, very hard. Because, you know, the left is a little bit more, and by a little bit I mean a lot more organized in terms of berating their elected representatives than the right. Because, you know, on the left, whenever any Democrats defy the party leadership, defy the cult mentality, whatever the hive mind says goes, right? Whenever they defy that, they are just absolutely raked through the coals on social media, in public, whatever, right? Because these people just are insane. Because they're basically saying that if you don't vote for the leftist mentality, if you don't vote for the hive mind, then you're evil, you're on the right, you're a conservative, this, that, and the other. And it's wild to me that these people can't just, like, let common sense win. And, you know, they always argue for this common sense gun control because it's common sense. It's this, that, and the other. But whenever we have these common sense bills, like this one, they're like, no, it's evil, it's immoral, it's wrong, we can't do that. It's wild to me, man. These people are sick. The bill requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain migrants if they are charged with certain criminal offenses, including theft, shoplifting, burglary, assault against law enforcement, or any crimes that result in death or serious bodily injury of another person. It also empowers the attorneys general of states to sue the federal government if the residents feel they've been harmed by national immigration policies. And you know what? Sue the feds. Do it. I think it's right to do that because everybody in every state has been harmed by immigration policies. Now, I don't know where you live, but I'll tell you, I live in the Midwest, and there are more immigrants here now than they were when Trump was president last time. In 4 years, the Latino and other populations have grown dramatically here. It's wild. And, you know, it's taken away a lot of jobs from people around here. Now, you might say, oh, but immigrants only take jobs that nobody wants to do. I'll tell you right now, man, times are tough in the Midwest. I don't know about the rest of the country, but here, people will do whatever the hell job you give them. They just want to make money to feed their family. And these immigrants being here, being more competition, just makes it that much harder because they'll work for next to nothing. They're essentially indentured servants. And that's what the left wants. That's why they push so hard for illegal immigration. That's why they push so hard for HB1 visas and all this good stuff, right? They want indentured servants. They don't want citizens. God, no. They don't want anyone to get a green card. They want you to be required to do whatever your employer says, to work at the behest of your employer, to make sure that you get to stay in this country, that they will protect you from the government, that you will continue to have your visa. And if you even consider going against what your employer says, well, there goes your stay in this country. Have fun going back where you came from. And that's what the left wants. They just want slavery. I mean, you hear from the left when it comes to illegal immigration, they say, who will pick our crops? The economy will suffer if we deport migrants. The same thing was said by the left when slavery was abolished. They said, who will pick our crops? The economy will suffer if we end slavery. You know, it's the same thing. It's just modern day slavery. And that's all they want. They just want a way to make money and have power and get more voters. It's ridiculous. The bill does not come with new funding for immigration control measures, leading to criticism from Democrats that it will be too expensive to fully implement. Liberal Democrats criticized the bill as an unfair crackdown on suspects who have not yet been found guilty of a specific crime. Now, here's a super unpopular opinion. Illegal immigrants do not deserve constitutional rights. Now, they should have human rights. They should be treated like people. But I'm going to be honest, when it comes to an illegal immigrant who's not in this country, as long as the punishment is deportation, they don't need a trial. Just deport them. They've already committed the crime. We are already fully aware that they are in this country illegally. When we catch one and we say, where are you from? And they say, Venezuela. And we say, do you have a visa? Nope, no visa. Okay, well then get the hell out. It's that simple. I don't care what crimes you've committed. The one crime you committed is coming into this country illegally. And the left will say, but they're asylum seekers. They're legal. Are they though? And luckily, thank the Lord, Trump has entered asylum for the time being, because we cannot handle the influx of migrants coming in and abusing our goodwill by saying, asylum, asylum. Just making sure they get to stay in this country, and just making sure they quote unquote get their day in court, even though most of them don't show up. So, whatever. But the bill has caused a rift in the party, with some members voting for the measure, describing it as common sense. During debate on the House floor on Wednesday, several Democrats referred to Trump's decision to pardon rioters who were convicted over the U.S. Capitol riot in 2021. And we have this from Ocasio-Cortez, the wonderful, the brilliant bartender, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. These people are people who you want to, or who want you to believe, want us to believe that they are keeping violent criminals off the streets, said Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Speaking ahead of the vote, Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said that under the previous Congress, Democrats had shown they had no desire to stand up for women who are assaulted by people here illegally. You have the same House majority, but now you have a willing partner in the Senate that actually wants to confront real problems facing families, so that you don't have more Laken Riley. You don't have more murders of innocent people because of an open border, he added. A National Institute of Justice study suggests that undocumented migrants in the U.S. are arrested for violent and drug crimes at less than half the rate of native-born citizens. Now, let's talk about that. That's an interesting little tidbit, isn't it? The National Institute of Justice says that immigrants commit less crime. Now, here's the interesting part, though, because U.S. citizens do not have a 100% crime rate. But illegal immigrants do. It's in the frickin' name. They are illegal immigrants. They've come into this country illegally. Now, they might have claimed asylum, but they're bullshitting on that, too. Now, there are definitely real asylees in there. But unfortunately, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. Enough people have come over who weren't seeking asylum that they can all screw off. And besides, if you are seeking asylum, go to the nearest safe country. You've got Mexico, you've got Brazil, you've got Colombia, you've got Costa Rica, you've got all these South American countries and Central American countries, and they're gorgeous countries. Now, their economy's not nearly as good as the U.S., which is the real thing here, right? But they're beautiful countries. They're safe enough. I mean, now, obviously in Mexico, people are all like, oh, the cartels run Mexico. It's all gang violence, this, that, and the other. Yes, but no, because there are plenty of places in Mexico that are safe. There are plenty of places that are dangerous, but there are safe places in Mexico. Brazil's terribly dangerous, but there are safe places. Colombia is terribly dangerous, but there are safe places. That's the thing, right? There are places in these countries that are safe, and these countries are gorgeous. But they don't have the economy that the U.S. has. And that's all these people are coming for. They want the economy. They want the opportunity. And I can't fault them for that. Everyone wants that opportunity for their children and their families. But you gotta do it the legal way. Just like how everyone gets pissed off when that guy skips the line. When you just got that random guy who just cuts in front of you and you get pissed off at him and you say, hey buddy, what the hell are you doing? Get in the back of the line. It's the same thing we need to say to these illegal immigrants. Because all they've done, they've skipped the line. There are plenty of people who have been waiting years to come into this country legally. Plenty of people who have been approved or are waiting to be approved. And instead, these people come in, they skip the line, they only care about themselves. They're incredibly self-entitled because they're just all like, oh, I'm important. I deserve to come to this country. I'm going to come here, break the law to get in, and then they're not going to get rid of me, and it's going to be great. When all these legal migrants, they can't come in because these people have come in instead. Because this country can only support so many people. So honestly, screw them all. Get rid of them. Like I said, the crime or the punishment for these crimes should be deportation. Get the hell out of my country. And then when you come back, get the hell out again, right? Just stay out of my country and go home. That's all it is. It's not hard. And so, this bill is a really good move in the right direction. And hopefully we keep on seeing good stuff like this. Hopefully we keep on seeing bipartisan support. Because I'm not upset that Democrats are voting for this bill. I'm just upset that they're favored by their friends. That they're only voting for this bill because they think it'll give them some sort of power. That they think the American people will like them a bit more. Because they're already planning for those midterms. They're trying to ingratiate themselves. You see John Fetterman saying, oh, Laken Riley Act is common sense, and he's being all this base stuff. But then you look at his voting record, and he's not very based, I'll be honest. So it's one of those things where they're trying to ingratiate themselves with the American people. They're trying to make sure that they can hopefully win in the midterms to get that power back. And hopefully the American people realize what they're doing and don't vote for them. But shame on anyone who does. Either way, guys, that's all I've got to say about this one. Next segment's coming up later today. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you then.